Are LGBT conservatives real? Or is it just a grift?
Conservatism traditionally holding an anti-gay position, being LGBT often meant that you were defaulted to the Democratic Party. But over the last
I don't think that it's actually a conservative position to be anti-gay. I think that is a Republican position. Little bit different. I don't know why people say that conservative and Republican are the same thing, because they're really not.
last decade, it seems like LGBT members who consider themselves conservative have been popping up left and right.
Oh my god, trust me, I'm a conservative.
And they face a lot of backlash for doing so. Terms like traitor, friendly fire, and my personal favorite, pick me, are common insults thrown around at those who go against the status quo. I recently saw a video with Matt Burns.
You step out of line an inch and they'll have your head. You cannot disagree with the left.
In ContraPoints titled LGBT Conservatives, they gave me some insight into how people on the left view this group on the right, and I wanted to comment on some of the things they said.
Well, they probably view this group on the right just as they view anybody on the right, or even not even on the right. Anybody that's just slightly right to them, even if they're still on the left. Step out of line an inch, they'll have your head.
Yes, queer people should be allowed to be conservative. And I'm not going to like strip them of that, but also I'm still going to unfortunately think less of them.
Yeah, well, I think less of you for thinking less of people, so, you know.
Take their self-hate and then use that to hate other people and use that to bolster politics that's going to hurt all of us.
Am I not allowed to hate anymore? Can I not hate people? I hate all of you. I even hate myself. Fuck everything. Am I right?
At a certain point, self-hate has become other hate. You're passing it on. You're sort of projecting it outwards.
If there were straight people
I don't actually hate anybody. I don't actually hate anything. I just pretend to because I think it's funny.
running around naked, whipping each other in the street, people would have a problem with that too.
Yeah, that's
so it's
absolutely
not fair
disgusting.
to say that it's just projected homophobia that people are condemning this type of extremism. People are going to call out inappropriate behavior, gay or not. When members of our own community are saying that kids and kinks should coexist, people are going to say something. It doesn't matter that the person who was saying that is gay. It would be just as much of an issue if the person saying it was straight. The difference is that gay people already have the stereotype of being sexual deviants. So when stuff like this gets portrayed in the media, it reinforces all of those negative stereotypes. There's got to be people within the LGBT community calling this type of stuff out. So
Yeah, there are normal people on the left in the LGBT community. I'm not in the LGBT community. I think that I'm pretty normal. I'm also on the left, but I get lumped into the right-wing people all the time. I don't know why. I really don't. Because all I do is talk about the insane people on the very extreme far left. And it's probably those people that are saying that I'm a far-right extremist, even though I'm just like slightly to the right of them.
that the public can be aware that this type of behavior isn't something that's supported by the entirety of the community. A lot of the LGBT conservative creators aren't even that conservative when you listen to their viewpoints. They're really
True.
just kind of moderate or center-right leaning. It's
Yeah, but that makes you a right-wing extremist if you're talking about the far left extremists.
just that if you even slightly disagree with the left, you get ostracized and labeled as a homophobic, self-hating, projecting, pick-me, grifter Republican.
Yep, 100%. I get called all of those things, especially the grifter one. And nobody knows what grifter means because I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this for clout, for views, because obviously I don't get any of that. I'm doing this shit for fun.
In a certain part of conservative media that like you see more and more queer people occupying, which is the conservative queer influencer. And it's like they amass these really big audiences.
The fact that queer people can occupy these conservative spaces and amass such a large audience should prove that there is growing acceptance on the right for LGBT. There are tons of videos online saying how people got kicked out of the LGBT community and pushed away from the left, but were perfectly welcomed on the conservative side. Now, that doesn't mean that all conservatives are welcoming, but not all Democrats are welcoming either.
Yeah, also, the conservatives / Republicans probably aren't gonna like condemn you or like be violent against you or even like sit there and scream at you and insult you for being a bigot, you know, that kind of stuff. They might disagree with you. They might not like you, Most of them are still going to be normal about it, though, and be able to have a conversation. And a lot of people will not like gay people and still have gay friends. Like me. I don't like gay people, but I also just don't like groups of people in general. When people group up, they get fucking retarded.
Even Obama was once against gay marriage.
Whether gays and lesbians should be able to get married, I struggle with this.
Would you look at that? Like, bro, deporter-in-chief also, you know? The left doesn't like deportations, but they voted for this guy.
I have friends.
I have a gay friend.
I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman.
I don't personally consider myself
Okay, see, I have some weird things about marriage. I'm gonna get into marriage real quick. I think that marriage should be between a man and a woman. But also, I think that the government should stay out of marriage, and I don't give a shit if a man marries a man or a woman marries a woman. I don't think that it's a good thing. I don't think it makes any sense, but I'm not gonna stop you. It's fucking stupid. Why would I try and stop you?
conservative, but I do get grouped in with them because we talk about a lot of similar issues and hold some similar positions. As both a gun owner and a Latina admirer, you can see where I struggle to commit to one political party, but I've always thought of this as a good thing because it allows me to understand both perspectives and be especially vigilant to the way members of each political party portray their viewpoints. This is precisely why I use the sponsor of today's video, Ground News, to see.
Ah, man, dude, I wish these like slightly political people would stop promoting Ground News. I hate it. I hate Ground News so much.
Exactly what both sides are saying. We've all known how the news can twist headlines to further a political narrative. But with Ground News, you get the advantage of having an overview of the bias behind the perspective, no matter which side of the
And that doesn't work still, because all it does is like, oh, well, this is a Republican thing, so I'm not going to read it. This says it's 74% blue. I'll read it. Like, it doesn't actually do anything. It really just allows people to really further separate themselves from the party that they don't align with, because it shows you which party these articles align with. It can be good for some things, like when you want to talk about, as a leftist, want to talk about right-wing articles, or if you're a right-wing guy, talk about leftist articles. You know? It's good for that.
Political spectrum you're on. Ground News helps you gain insight into how each side, each news story. You can see here a recent LGBT story about the US Supreme Court upholding its ban for sex changes for minors. It gives you a quick summary of the articles, the number of sources reporting, and breaks down the potential bias from both sides. You can clearly see the differences in headlines, with the right using terms like child mutilation and the left using terms like gender-affirming care.
I think both are disgusting. I think both sides, the words that they use are disgusting. I don't think that children should have sex changes. But also, if a kid actually believes in their head that they are a woman when they become an adult, if they are a dude and they want to become a woman, they can do that. But don't allow it when they're a kid. Because I know too many people. I know three people. Literally, I know like 10 trans people, and 3 of them, when they were a kid, thought that they were a girl when really they were a boy, and they started a transition when they were an adult, and they decided that it was a mistake, that they shouldn't have done that, but they did it when they were an adult. Imagine a kid getting transitioned and then grows up and is like, oh, I was stupid when I was a kid. I wish I wouldn't have done any of that. Too fucking late. You listen to your dumb kid self. If I listened to my dumb kid self, I'd be into drugs right now.
One of their best features is called Blind Spot, where it shows you what news is only being covered by one political side and ignored by the other. It's the best platform to stay informed and escape the algorithms that try to trap you in an echo chamber.
No, it's not. No, it still does that. It actually allows you to further get into it if you're a moron getting into Ground News. If you're an actual smart person using Ground News, then you're probably not using Ground News.
For a limited time, you can subscribe to Ground News using the link in my description, or you can scan the QR code up here to get 40% off of their limited access Vantage plan. Thank you so much to Ground News for sponsoring this video, and be sure to visit ground.news/sky. Best plan for just $5 a month.
Yeah, and you're only allowed to follow a certain amount of topics, and it's stupid.
That's more of a steal than the 2020 election. A significant portion of this hour-long conversation is them trying to come up with reasons why an LGBT member might be conservative. They raise these possibilities. Maybe they're grifting. Maybe they're a pick-me. Maybe they hate themselves. They keep looking for psychological reasons, but it never occurs to them that maybe it's because their own community has turned on them for having disagreements.
That's exactly what it was. Literally. You step out of line just an inch and they have your head. You disagree on one little thing, then you get thrown out of the community.
Maybe it's because even mentioning that trans women being in women's sports might not be a good idea will get you immediately labeled as transphobic. Maybe it's because any condemning of public indecency at pride parades will get you called a right-wing homophobe. Eventually, people are going to start drifting from a political party that makes no effort to acknowledge any alternative perspectives.
Bro, and it's not even really that. It's a political party that's run by a bunch of freaks that are only trying to gain power and money. But guess what? The right does that and the left does that. Every single party does that. That's what people who are seeking government power do. And all these fucking morons follow these politicians and listen to them, and they're like, yes, queen! It's fucking stupid, man. And then the politicians, they eat it up too. They're like, oh, hey, everybody's falling for this thing that we've been trying to get them to fall for. It's working. So let's make things worse. Let's make it an obvious lie, an obvious grift. It's funny. The grifters always shout grifter. The terrorists always shout terrorism. It's funny how that works, you know?
People will condemn LGBT members for leaving the left, but did any of us really leave? Or were we shoved out, labeled as right-wing, and then called a traitor? A lot of us...
I guarantee you there are going to be people down there in the comments calling me a homophobe and a transphobe because of these statements that I just made about the left. Like, there aren't people in the center and on the right who are gay and trans, you know? I'm just talking about the insane leftists. And also some insane people on the right. Because they definitely exist. But they're not the ones out there lighting cars on fire and burning cities down.
Us actually have a very moderate position, but unfortunately politics have been weaponized to such a degree that people will invalidate somebody's perspective by labeling them as their opposite political party.
The conservative queer influencer, there's Blair White, there's Ariel Scarcella.
He name drops you.
They started saying trans women are women, and I said, okay. And then they said, well, if you don't find trans women attractive, you're a bigot.
Dude, that is the fucking dumbest shit, man.
And then I would say, you know, like, I don't find every woman attractive. And then I was just like, you know what? Like, I don't have to say it that way. Like, I don't like dick.
They started using terms like genital preference instead of sexuality.
Genital preference is the most homophobic thing you could say. And I literally went on Jubilee, and I said that to one of the people. They were like, well, that's your genital preference. They, them, of course. And I was like, there's no such thing as genital preference. There's such a thing as sexual.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be fucking somebody who looks like a dude but has a vagina. No fucking shot.
Orientation. I don't want to suck a dick. And they put, that was like the main thing that everyone, I knew it was going to go viral on Jubilee.
Yeah.
That's why I said
Yeah.
But it's like, it's literally the truth.
Well, that's what being a lesbian is not liking wiener.
One of the other reasons I left the left was because the complete changing of words and definitions. There's a big difference between being gay and being queer. Queer is an ideology. Being gay is just a sexual orientation. The truth is we're not conservatives, really, the majority of us. We're just not left.
I don't like to use the word queer for them. I like to use the word it.
Basically, if you don't agree with 100% of their ideologies, you're called a homophobic Republican.
You can't even understand what they're doing without reference to their queerness. The reason that they're saying these things is inextricably tied up with their queerness, right? So no, it doesn't mean like, oh, you're not gay if you're Republican. It just means that you're a sort of self-annihilating gay person.
I actually feel the complete opposite. I feel like the LGBT people who are conservative have completely decentralized their sexuality as the core of their belief system.
Yeah, they don't make that their identity. And the left doesn't either, which works. It works out for them. Perfect. Yeah, I'm trans, but like, I don't pay attention to that, you know? I'm not trans. I'm just somebody who is trans would say that. It's like, yeah, I'm trans, but that's not my identity. I am Blair White, a conservative. I have a show. I am a person, you know?
I think a lot of gay conservatives chose the right for reasons outside of their sexuality. Maybe they agree more with the...
Because they're not thinking about sex all the fucking time. These people on the left who are focused about sexuality all the time are fucking degenerates.
Economic policies, or maybe because they want less government involvement. There are reasons outside of gay rights that someone would choose to be Republican. Just like I personally know Democrats who own guns and support gun rights, there are gay people who support the Republican Party. Someone's sexuality doesn't have to be the sole dictator of how they believe the country should be run. It doesn't mean that they are self-hating or self-annihilating. They just don't make their sexuality the very center of their beliefs. Plus, we have to give credit where it's due. The traditional beliefs of each political party have shifted a lot. This idea that the entirety of the Republican Party is against gay marriage is just no longer true.
It was never true, actually. It was just vocal people and the people at the top who listened to the vocal people and manipulated them. Those were the ones. Everybody else didn't give a shit.
Casually walks around carrying a rainbow flag and has made no effort to retract gay marriage like a lot of people said that he would try to. Every candidate has different values and goals. There are Republicans who hold some traditionally Democratic policies and vice versa. There's a big problem with purporting the idea that gay acceptance is something that could never exist on the right. Since when was the acceptance of gay people something to be gatekept by the left?
Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel.
Yeah, I like this person a lot. I've reacted to a few videos from this person, this human being. I'll probably do it more in the future, but yeah. And I'm on the left. I don't consider myself a leftist freak. There are a lot of people on the left who are leftist freaks. And they see me as a right-wing extremist. And I'm a leftist. It blows my fucking mind, man. Like, all of my gay friends and trans friends and friends of different races, they know what's up. They know all these people are fucking insane. And they lie to themselves, they lie to each other, and they lie to everyone else too. They're just insane fucking sexual degenerate liars. That is all.